says I'm live on X.
Yes, you are.
Okay. Hey everyone, welcome. This is just a little test for me to work out if I can still remember how to do live streaming. I am joined with Zach with me today. Zach, say hello while I try and work some things out in the background here.
Hello. Sorry, everybody, for the shaky camera. I'm having to hold an iPad up, so I don't have my laptop with me.
Yes, this in general is probably going to be a very ropey podcast, so please bear with us. We are testing my capabilities. I am working with my laptop, the one that was broken, which is now miraculously fixed. However, it's still not the greatest laptop, as Zach can attest to. It's struggling its wee heart out right now. So we will see how we go here. Um, I am going to check on a few different locations just to see. Like it says we're live. But yes, there I see us live on Twitch. Zach, you said we're live on X?
We are.
And we should be also live on YouTube. So, folks, it probably is a little bit laggy at the moment. That's on my end, not Zach's. It's just this laptop is struggling, bless its little heart. So we are going to be not talking about a whole lot of stuff today, but what I was going to try to do was have us react to a video, but I don't really know how that's going to go anymore because this little laptop is struggling. Um, Also, I do not like how it's got this setup. I'm gonna try a different setup. So, folks, if this kicks us off here, apologies. We will be back on. Um, but yeah, I know, Isaac. You were while we were on space. You were telling us about your day. If you want to continue while I do this,
Mm,
I'll put him on the
not
spot
not
for.
recorded on this many platforms.
Well, yeah. But in general, your day has been good though.
Uh, for the most part, yeah, yeah.
Okay. I got burnt today. I don't. You can't tell on this light, but I definitely got too
Oh,
much
I
sun.
can tell.
Oh yeah. Also, if we had any comments yet, I cannot actually see, so I don't actually know.
We do.
Oh,
Um,
we do. How can you see
yeah,
them and I can't?
joyful on Living's in here. I don't know how to respond to anybody in the comments, so
Yes. So you won't have that capability um
okay.
on your tablet, so you bring your laptop. However, um oh yes, I see the comments now. It has been so long since I've done streaming that I really can't remember. Like, here's how bad it is. Zach has his own name added here, and I don't. Like, I can't remember how to do it, and I'm in the background here trying to make it up. So, oh, I see Joyful and stuff now. Bear with us, folks. This is just me trying to refamiliarize myself with streaming. So it's probably going to be a little bit janky. I do have something that I wanted Zach and I to react to, but whenever I say react, like we're not going to go through the whole thing. It's like 3 hours, but I need to. And as I say, if this takes us off stream, bear with us. We will be back. But it's been a while since I have done this, so I cannot remember how to do this, which is
I was
very
gonna say I
annoying.
keep getting feedback, but it's because the volume on my phone is like 2 ticks up, and I can hear
Yeah.
this.
Well, you sound alright to me. So yeah, Zach, I think you're perhaps limited because you're on. You're not. You're not on your laptop. But do you have like a comment section where
Yeah,
you
I
see
can
the
see it.
comments
Hmm.
and you don't have a reply button there?
I do not have a reply button now.
Interesting. Very interesting. I don't know why. So it's currently just us up here, which is fine. But what I want to do is to add a scene, and it's not allowing me to do so. Wow, folks, you must be so thrilled. This must be very exciting for you all.
We're just trying to perfect it for the future.
Yeah, that pretty much is it. It's more just me testing it because, like, there's a lot of stuff here, even in the background, that I am trying to remember. Okay, how does this work?
All right. Unlivian says that I am a little low. That could just be
Yes.
because my headphones. So
Why are you being low, Zach?
I don't know. I wish there was a because if I hit the button on these, it only turns up the volume. So,
Yeah. Well,
but these are the same ones that I use for like spaces and
space.
stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, let me just. I'm still. Again, I apologize. I know it's probably not very good viewing at the moment, but this really is just a test. Um, and as Zach can clearly uh, a test it is. Right, so I think I've got you and I kind of sorted in the background here, and now if I could just bring this down and have it up just a little bit. I don't know what way this is going to look, but we'll see. We shall see. Okay. Do we now have a video in the background? I believe we do.
yes.
It's not incredibly centered, but that's okay. I'll try and fix this for a different stream. So this is initially what I was going to react to because like I didn't know Zach was coming on, which praise the Lord he is because it's a lot easier doing this with someone else, especially when you're trying to test stuff in the background. Now, if I can remember how to do this, there we go. We have him up. So now, how do I? I wish there was a way I could see this a little bit bigger. I think there is. I'm not familiar with how to. Okay, there we go. Now I have it slightly bigger in my end. So he says he has miniatures to assemble and paint. You're good. That must be in regards to your volume, Zach. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me just. I'm going to move us Zach over to the side because I realize the banner is going to crop you and I out. Come on, little laptop. You're doing a good job.
Oh,
Oh, did I
okay.
lose you?
I'm learning too. No, no, no.
Oh, you're just testing things.
Yeah. Um, I'm just pushing buttons.
Okay. Okay, so if anything blows up, folks, it's Zach's fault.
Yes.
Okay, there. That's a little bit better. It's not great, but it's a little bit better. Now, the only downside to me being in this way is I think I have lost access to the comments. So
I can still see
that's
the
fine. I
comments.
can bring it back up. You can, I can't, which is the downside. So is this the same miniatures, Olivia, you were doing earlier that you uploaded to X? Sorry. Oh, that's interesting. So my own comment shows up with my profile picture, but also not with my profile picture.
Yeah, it's in there twice.
And
I think it's because your
Joyful
pod on
says
yours
hello.
shows that your pod on Twitch and YouTube.
Yes, it's because it's streaming to both at the same time. Now, I don't have the capabilities of doing this right now, but I really need to have my other laptop out so that I can keep track of like Twitch and stuff. But like it should show all the comments here in one place. So
Hmm.
it's okay. We have a grand total of 0 viewers on Twitch, so we're good. I don't have to worry about that right now. Um, okay, why did I put that up twice? Who else have we got? Is it just Olivia and Joyful so far?
Hmm. That's all I see.
Okay, well that's a little bit better. Now, here's going to come the real test. Let me now see if I can play this.
I'm saying that the rules are different and operates much more, and you're probably familiar with what's called mental objects as opposed to natural. So I concede that. I'm like, yeah, there's situations in which, and all the examples that you've given, I would grant that. But I think it fundamentally ignores the special logical and semantic care of the term God, because it's neither a proper name nor is it a rigid designator. The rule, like I said, it's conja, Trinity or not Son, it changes the truth value of the entire account, and it changes the reference. Now I know that Russell had this with his correspondence that doesn't work, but they were talking about natural objects, and the way the natural object is different. So
Now, question: did that play for the stream, or was that just an our end that played?
Um, I'll let them answer for the stream part.
Are we back?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
However, I have. I think that definitely, yeah. Okay, so I definitely need more RAM because I think that collapsed the system. Okay, so that's good to know.
No,
That's good to know. We've
I,
got 26. Now did that play for you viewers? What were you going to say, Zach?
yeah, Unlivian said it started out okay and then it got a little robotic and glitchy as it went on, which was the same for me.
Yeah. Yep. That's fair. That's more just me checking out if this is going to be feasible, which obviously it's not, which is fine because like I was told that I did need 16 gigabyte of RAM in order to do this, without it being choppy. So that's fine. At least we know. Um, so what I will do is, Mr. Zachary, I will remove this because I don't think we need it anymore. And you and I will just shoot the breeze for a little bit, and then we will end the stream because now I know that we definitely need a lot more juice in the old laptop, which is good to know. Also, folks, apologies about my lighting setup at the moment as well. This is really not meant to be a proper stream. It is more just for me to test, but as you can see, I've got all burnt. Okay, this brings Zach up to the same size as me. Well, at least now I know for the interview that I plan to do, I can handle that part as long as I do not try and share my screen at the same time. That's the issue. Oh dear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good. So for everyone that is watching, sorry, I need to go actually back to make sure that I know what I'm seeing. I have got an interview coming up very shortly with our very own Mr. Gabe. So I am looking forward to seeing Gabe. Hello, my friend. How are you? Good to see you. It's good evening with you. It is good morning with me. Zach, what time is it with you, brother?
7:03 a.m.
Sorry, no one asked you. Then let's see, we have got Super Lion here. Woodman. Then he says, "What's up?" Not a lot, brother. We are just trying. I'm assuming, brother. Forgive me if it's not, if it's sister. I don't think it is, but I'm just saying. Um, Not a lot. We are just testing out live stream capabilities. Oh, he may have actually been talking to Livian, which is fair. So this is how far behind I am. But at least you can
Yeah, mine
tell the
updates like instant.
yeah. So at least we can tell though, but the actual it may be a little bit laggy, which is to say, like the laptop will get replaced very shortly. But at least I know I can go live. I can host the interview. Um. Oh yeah, I see on Livian's comment now. Yeah, it started out okay, but got a little bit robotic and glitchy. Yeah, I figured just the laptop struggling. Super Lion says, "Are you that guy from Woodman?" I have no clue. So
I don't even know what that is.
nor do I. Um, J. Neil Daniels says, "Looking okay." I'm going to assume there was more to come
At the
in that
beard.
statement,
Yeah,
but
they were just looking at the beard.
yeah. Well, I'm glad we'll stay on a little bit longer here. Talk a little bit. If you guys have anything you want to talk about, we now have the comments working a little bit better. But as you can tell, and I'm repeating myself here, but this is more just a test. I wanted to see how things will go. So we definitely can't share the screen. I mean, we can do it, but it got bad. Um, and yeah, Zach's very enamored with my multicolored microphone.
I am actually.
So for those, because we've got YouTube and we've got Twitch up now as well. But for those of you that are listening on X that normally join us on Spaces, in the future, now not for I don't think for your Spaces, Zach, but in the future, I'm probably going to be hosting Spaces like this. It just means that you're able to comment here, and I can actually see the live chat, and then that way we can reply to you a little bit better. So that'll hopefully make things a little easier. Because from what I can see now, like Zach, I know you're not able to reply to chats because you're not on your laptop, but you can see the comments and stuff, can you?
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. Well, mine's is completely. It's so weird. Like I used to do this for my old YouTube channel. I used to have a Bible review channel for those of you that don't know. And honestly, see coming back into this like software, it's it hasn't changed, but Zach will tell you behind the scenes, I was like, what does this button do? What does that do? So we've eventually got up somewhat, but oh look, I got my first follower on Twitch. It's on Livian. Thank you, brother. Um so yes, if you have anything you want to chat about, folks, feel free to add it into the comments and we'll discuss it. Zach, I don't think you're in any rush off yet, are you?
No.
No? So we're normally on X anyway, chatting on space. Per Vincent was going to join us, but he had to run. So he said he was going to make food, didn't he?
Tina.
Is Tina here? Yes, she is here. Welcome, Tina. We will pop you up on screen. Don't panic, we're not actually bringing you up in case you're panicking. But good to see you, sister. Um, this is now a lot easier because like Tina's a regular listening to us on X, and normally we can't see the comments live. We have to jump out, go into the comments, reply. At least this way now we can bring the comments up and talk. So that's far better. And yeah, we seem to be running pretty smoothly on other platforms because the good thing about this saga is it does seem to be the talking end of things, the laptop seems to be able to handle, and it handles the video not so bad. Like it's not the greatest, but it doesn't seem too bad.
Yeah.
But what
And
about
for
you?
everybody else that's listening, I'm on my iPad because I don't have my laptop with me, so that's why I'm so close to my
Yeah,
camera because I'm having
because
to
you have
hold
to
this
hold
up in
it.
front of me. Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. But whenever you have your laptop, we'll see how we go with this. It might work. Maybe people won't like it, but I actually do like here. So like you can tell Tina's watching on X because it brings up the little X logo. That's cool. So she says, "No panic,
Yep.
just chilling." Good. Glad to hear it, Tina. Hope you enjoy. We're not going to be on for super long because this really is just a test. We tested briefly if I could share my screen. Like you can hear it, but it's not watchable quality for the audience. So like that I'll not be doing any more live streams sharing my screen until I've a more capable laptop. Plus, this thing dies every 5 to 10 minutes anyway, so like it constantly needs slapped. But yeah, this feels a little bit different because obviously, like Zach and I are normally chilled on X. We're not normally like obviously we know what each other look like. We talk off stream as well. Like we are actually very good friends, but it's weird actually sitting here talking to Zach face to face, and it's kind of like we normally have a ton of topics to talk about, but it's like because we're both testing features behind the scene, it's like oh yeah, who cares about the topics? However,
Yeah, that's why my eyes are popping around. I'm still just clicking buttons.
yeah. So if we do blow up or something, folks, oh, I probably shouldn't say that. I forgot about live streaming. Certain words are banned. Um, if something goes wrong, blame Zachary. But apart from that,
Yeah.
yes, I was saying we are going to. I say we. I am going to be interviewing Mr. Gabe very shortly. Looking forward to hearing his testimony. I don't know if I'm going to do it live. I'm just glad to know I have the capability of doing it live. Um, but the great thing about this software is I can do right now what me and Zach's doing without going live, and you can just record it. Then I can edit it and upload it. So looking forward to doing that. I mentioned before if anybody has any guests they would want me to bring on, let me know. Obviously, like the guest is going to have to say yes. You know, you can't just volunteer folk and then maybe like, okay, ready for your interview. Now, can
You
you
know who
guys?
would be good?
Sorry.
I said, you know who would be good? Two that I can think of right off the bat. And like it could just be a casual conversation that I would definitely watch. Colton and Mr. Barzon. Am I saying that
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm. Joshua
Yeah.
Barzon. Yep, I'm sure Joshua will be up
Yeah.
for it. Colton's already coming on. We obviously don't have a time or anything set up yet. I just asked him if he would do it, and he said yes. But also, Mr. Muncie is coming on, so he'll be another one that I'll be interviewing.
Oh man. See, I wish I would have went to RGA this year
Yeah,
because that's like a hop, skip, and a jump from him. And he was like, he was telling me that, or he asked if I was there because he was desperately wanting to come meet me and have a drink and a cigar with me.
yeah, I'm sure that would have been good. But there's always like what? When's the next one?
Uh, they haven't set a date, like
Yeah, but
the
are they
specific
yearly
days
with you
yet, but
guys
it's
or
yeah, yeah,
okay, fair.
yeah. So it's the next one is I do believe that they said it's in June of next year.
Yeah.
Um, it's in my mind's blanking. It's in Louisville, Kentucky, which
Mm-hmm.
is not very far from me. I can get there in
Yeah.
like 5 hours, 3 4 hours. I don't know.
Okay, well that's probably still travelable for him as well then.
I think it's probably about the same distance. Like I know where about he lives. I'm not, obviously not gonna say.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I think from my corner of the state and his corner of the state, it's pretty much the same distance to Louisville, I believe.
Okay. And Livian says I should bring on JD Vance. if you can arrange that, brother, I'll interview him, no problem. But something tells me he's
I
not
want
going
to
to be
be.
replying to my DMs. But yeah, you were just busy this year. You couldn't get.
Yeah, we had a lot of things going on at work where I could have taken the time off, but I I didn't want to um, leave my coworkers high and dry. I'm
Yeah,
not that kind of guy.
yeah, that's understandable. But all work and no play, mixac, something, something. Tina really is just chilling here. She's loving life. But it's so nice to actually, as
She
I say,
is
finally be able to see comments as they come in versus like I think there is
right.
probably going to be a little bit of a delay because that says that was posted 2 minutes ago. But it's so refreshing not having to like actually hop out of space, go read the comments, come back in. So I do like it. I obviously have a lot more work to do here beside behind the scenes because like what you're seeing currently, like the background, even the live stream test, writing itself, I want to set all that up, to my normal theme. So I'll need to do all that behind the scenes, but at least now I know I can do it. Um, and yeah, it wasn't easy as I remember, but I'm sure that's more just because like I haven't played around with it for a while. Like playing around for it with a little bit, it'll probably make it like riding a bike again. So,
I mean, I would say success because what we planned this for 10 minutes maybe.
yes, yes, it was not planned at all. Like you'd messaged me today and was like, "Should we do a space later?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, sure, that works." Um, okay, sorry, Tina's comment here. I can only see my own, but it shows 27 people. Yeah, yeah, I think that's just other viewers that are uh watching because it shows 29 on my end. Zach, I don't know if you can see that part or not, but it probably so
Um,
Olivian's watching on YouTube, so he's one on YouTube. There is maybe one on Twitch or another on YouTube, and then yeah, maybe the other 27 are on X, which would make sense. But
yeah, there's 27 on X, and one of those is me
yeah,
because I have it up on my phone just
hmm,
to keep an
yeah,
eye on it.
which is good. Um, well, I was in the middle. You were in the middle of saying something. Someone was in the middle of saying something.
Oh, I was before we were on so many different platforms. I was telling what happened at work
Oh
towards
yeah,
the
yeah,
end.
yeah. Yeah, keep it more reserved. Like I'm probably not going to go live on every single platform every time. Like I probably will save some just for X. But I just wanted to see how it was going. But it seems to be
Mhm.
okay. So it says I'm still live on Twitch. Says I'm still live on YouTube. And by the way, folks, I don't really use Twitch. I probably will in the future. As I say, because obviously I'm streaming there for a reason. But uh yeah, so if anybody's talking on Twitch at the moment, you should appear here. Yes, there you go. Livian counts for two. So he's like, I have Twitch and YouTube open. I think I could. Yeah, you do, which is good. I appreciate it. You're also my first
Hey,
Twitch
actually,
sub.
Unliving, can you comment on Twitch just to see if it does pop up in here? Because I only see YouTube and Twitter or
I
X.
think I think though that's because he's this comment came in YouTube, hence the wee symbol. But yeah, that's a good idea. And Livian, gone comment on Twitch
Help us
for us just
test.
to see if that comes. Tina's comment.
Oh yeah, okay, there it is. I see. Yep, and it has a little Twitch symbol.
Yep. That's
Nice.
nice. Okay, that's good to know. I'm glad they do that automatically because that would be a nightmare to.
Yeah.
See, this was I actually really like this platform. Like, so I'm if people don't know, because I just this is the same platform that Tim and I do our streams on. However, um, I have paid for the basic plan again because I plan to do a few live streams by myself, and Zach obviously will be joining me for a few, but also mainly for interviews because it'll make it easier. However, I have removed the little, because whenever you pay, you can remove the VMux logo, but that's what we use just in case anybody's wondering. But from what I know, it runs pretty much the same as like uh, Streamyard and a few others. So
Yeah, actually, I like it even though I'm limited because I'm on my
yeah,
tablet. It's actually I like the only thing I don't like is that I can't like reply to comments like
you
in
will when you have
text.
your laptop. I think you're just like
Okay.
so. This is what I mean whenever I say Sorry, folks, I'm just taking a picture here to show Zach in the background. This is what I mean whenever I say whenever I'm on with him, I am limited in what I can do, like from my end, because like you heard in the last stream there, Tim said he is not great at multitasking. So like if we did want sounds or anything in the background, it'll be better for me to do it because Tim obviously is the main host. So while he's talking, it means I can run things in the background. So yeah, we'll get things up and running. Things will start looking a bit better. Um,
Oh yeah, I have almost none of that.
yeah, no, I know it. Like it's so. This is what I was saying to Tim the other day because that last stream I did my more. So I've got two tablets. One was a gift, um, which is the more recent one. The other one is one that I got with my phone at one stage. So oh dear, nearly threw the laptop around me. So I was using the more powerful of the two out of that last live stream, and it gave me more options than the older tablet did. But today, when I logged in with this, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, I forgot how many options are available." Like it's a little bit overwhelming. Because there's like Zach, I sent you a picture of some of it, but there's stuff hidden behind stuff as well. So like you click into stuff, and there's a lot more you can do. But yeah, I'm glad you like it because it means then if you ever want to do your own, you can as well.
Yeah.
Now, let's see what Tina's saying to us. I was just testing on Space's text is viewed even outside of space. Here it doesn't appear to be so. No, yeah.
So I believe on if I'm understanding what she's talking about, yeah, so if you're watching on X at the bottom, if you hit live chat, you can see it live instead of having to pop out and view it.
Yeah, maybe, sorry, Tina, if you don't mind, clarify for us, because I took that differently. I thought she was saying I was just testing on Space's text is viewed even outside of space. So, like, she's seeing, watching here, she's seeing comments outside of X. But on X,
Oh,
it's
okay.
not appearing. But that's because X is on its own platform. It's through this software that you're able to see comments from YouTube, Twitch, and you can stream to others as well. But I really don't need any more platforms. The ones that I have are enough to manage.
Oh wait, I just saw it. I can reply on X because I'm watching on X.
Oh yeah, so you can, yeah, she said correct. Yeah, okay, that's fair. Yeah, you can reply on X. That's fair. But whenever you've got your laptop, you'll be able to reply directly in here as well, which is nice.
Yeah.
So again, folks, if you're tuning in, because I do see there's more folk tuning in. Just we're not really talking about anything in particular. So if you have any topics, feel free to bring it up. Zach and I are normally on about this time anyway, and we normally go on for a while. So probably be here for a bit, keeping Livy in company as he's painting his miniatures. Wow, who is this person? Who is this person? Who are they?
It looks like somebody that you need to follow.
Oh, yeah. If you are watching and you're not following Zach, go give him a follow. Now, I don't know what this comment's in reference to, brother. So remind me. Me too.
It's because he commented on X.
Ah, okay, okay. Yeah, he's commenting all over the show. It's excellent. But I'm glad to see that actually because it was a feature I didn't even think about asking people to test. Like I probably should have said, like if you're watching on each platform, let me know. So also if you're on X, go and follow Livian as well. This is his handle on X. Same dude. Go give him a follow. But yeah, I actually, do you know something? There's part of me I don't think realized how much I missed this. Like I enjoy this type of thing. Um, I know a lot of people don't, but I'm just a talker, so like I really do enjoy just sitting. And as I say, it's nice to actually like you and Isaac
Hmm.
already know what each other look like anyway. Like we talk all the time, but it's interesting because now normally in spaces I'm just very chilled or like wrestling with Rolo in the background. And when I say wrestling, I mean more like I'm on my bed and Rolo is spread out over like 3/4 of the entire bed. Like there's a blanket down, he doesn't get on the actual covers. But it's normally trying to push him away. Or if I'm outside on the space, like on the it's not a porch, but you know what I mean. He's normally trying to stand on my feet to get in as well. And it's like, Rolo, go away. Okay. He's like, oh nah, don't. I'm very weird. Too late, brother. We've sent people your way. Hopefully. Says he's just here for the laughs. Yeah, but I would still say you're a good follow. So we appreciate you, brother.
And it is very good to laugh at Mr. Apologist.
Yeah. Now, here's something I would ask you. How people is my microphone sounding like? People said it was sounding good on Tim's platform, but I haven't really played around with it on here. Because previously it was just hooked up to my tablet, as we're now it's hooked up to my laptop. So let me know if I sound okay or if anything needs adjusted. Like I assume if I
I
sounded
think you
awful,
sound
someone would have said
better.
by now. Better.
Yes.
Okay, that's good to know.
So you know how like you have that like you're on the phone kind of sound, like if you're talking to somebody on the phone they sound one way, and then like if you
Yeah.
get them like on FaceTime or something they sound like it just sounds cleaner. So
Mm-hmm.
like you sound cleaner.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. Sorry, folks. I'm being really unprofessional in texting here. Apologies. Yeah, and Livian says still sounds good. Um, Now, here's a question for you, Zach. Maybe you don't want to talk about this actually, but I thought I'd ask you anyway. Have you made a choice to replace your Bible yet, or not yet?
Oh, I already got it.
Oh, you never told me.
Yeah, I ordered it Monday.
Oh, nice. So has it arrived already? Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
okay.
got here. Let's see, I placed the order Monday morning, and it was here. Was it here Wednesday or Thursday? It's. I mean, evangelical Bibles were really good about. It's
They're
like their
quick over
thing
here
says
too.
like yeah, like their thing says like standard shipping like 6 to 8 days or whatever, and it's always like 2 or 3.
Yeah,
Like
because
they're
over here,
very
if
very
I
good.
order from anywhere in the states, like I know I'm normally in for like a week plus. But on the
Yeah,
two occasions I have ordered from Evangelical Bible, it's been there like a week. Like not any quicker than a
yeah.
week, but yeah, like a week definitely. So also, folks, apologies. I'm probably going to make a few of you dizzy, but I am just sitting on my little armchair thing here, so I need to readjust myself because I'm in cramp. Oh,
Excuse me.
and you can
What was
tell
having
this
you
is a
readjust to?
huh.
I said I was gonna say I need to readjust too, so
Yeah,
I gotta keep my
well,
couch creek.
that's the thing. Like, if you're sitting for too long in the same position, it does get very. Okay, sorry, folks. You're gonna need to look at the ceiling for a moment.
Bookshelf tour. All right, let's do it.
Well, I wouldn't look too closely at the moment because you can see some of the bookshelf or some of the bookshelves. Some of the books are like facing face forward. That's there for a reason. This is not my permanent address. Like, so this is not my bookshelf. So like, this is a lot of like books that don't belong to me. So I have just placed some of my favorite ones out, like just as a display. So hopefully, whenever I'm in my own place, well, not hopefully, like obviously it'll happen, but it means I'll be able to put things. Sorry, I'll come back to what I was saying at the moment.
Yeah,
I don't know if this
I
is
was
helpful,
going
but Twitch is
to.
showing feed ahead of YouTube, and YouTube is showing feed ahead of X. Yeah, so this is
Yep.
just unfortunately the way it works. Twitch seems to be the fastest in like actually receiving live streams, then YouTube, and then X is always behind anyway because I'm not hosting directly on X. It's like a stream of a stream. So yeah, there will be a little bit of a delay, but thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Um,
Yeah, I was gonna say whenever I was looking on X, it seems that it's I would say man, I would say probably about 30 seconds behind on honestly. Like you just now put that
that
comment
makes
up
sense
on X.
because if I remember correctly, whenever I used to stream to YouTube anyway, like directly, because that's all I had back then, there was like a 15 to 30 second delay anyway. So I'm not worried about that too much. It just means obviously like we'll get comments on a little bit of a delay, but that's fine because then it gives you time to address them and so which is good. But yes, anyway, sorry, I was saying about the bookshelf situation. Yeah, I can't wait just to get a lot of my books unpacked. Like a lot of my books are still in boxes, and it's really annoying because like if anyone's in that situation, where you've got books and they're packed away, there always comes a point where there's a specific book that you want, and you're like, "Where is that? Oh, it's probably going to be in the box, isn't it?" It's like, do I really want to read it that badly that I'm going to have to go into the boxes, look for it? So, like, at the moment, I have just laid out some of my favorite uh, books and was like, yeah. So,
Yeah, I have just stacks of books everywhere. I'm in my living room, and right across from me there's at least 10 books over there. Right here in
mhm,
front of my couch and the floor, there's probably about 20 books. No, this is no joke. And then on my table right here next to me, there's probably another 20 books.
yeah.
And then my room is full of books.
That's me, but with Bibles. But thankfully, they're all on a shelf at the moment because I don't have as many Bibles now as I used to. I used to have quite a few. Like I still have quite a lot by like most people's standards, but um yeah, I but slowly giving them away now over the years. The only thing is I have a lot of Bibles that I've written in heavily, and like I personally don't care about giving them away. Like it wouldn't bother me, but there's not going to be too many people that want to receive a Bible that's filled with someone else's notes. Like it's different if it's someone that is close to you or whatever. But yeah, what did you say?
Oh, I said there we go. Sorry.
Oh,
No, my lamp has like three different light modes on it, and
mm.
I was like, why am I just getting darker?
Well, I'm at the mercy. Like I've got my tablet pointed at me at the moment because, like, as I say, Zach and I didn't really plan this. It was just like, hey, should we try and test out if the live streaming's working? So for future live streams, I will probably, well, not probably, I will make an effort to get lighting so that I'm lit up. But for now, I'm just dealing with my tablet. So, but it's all right. At least you can see me, and you know,
I'm just glad that the lighting is as good as it is around me.
yeah, you
I'm
look
just
pretty
sitting here.
well.
This
And
is
like
just
as
my
I
wall
say,
behind me.
yeah, I was also going to say too, like, if anybody is finding, like, no one's commented this, so it's fine. But if anyone's finding Zach laggy, it's probably not actually him. It's probably my laptop struggling. But it's doing its job. So
Some of it is also, again, that I'm holding my iPad up. I'm moving stuff around to try to balance it on the arm of my couch, but
yeah,
I'm also
well,
charging it. So
it doesn't look bad to me. It's not like you're constantly waving it. So like nobody's getting motion sick. Now I probably will shift again myself before we come off stream, but I like this wee chair. This chair is nice, but it's not a. This is my reading chair. This is what I would sit in to read. So like you're free to shift around when you're reading a book, but like whenever like my laptop currently is just balanced on my knee. I'm not as free to move around because every time I move,
have we
oh,
lost
now
Nicholas?
either Zach had a blackout
There
or
we go.
Zach, you're not muted, brother, and I don't know how
Are
to
you
mute him.
muted?
Zach, can you hear me? Oh dear, I think I've lost Zach. Although I can hear noise in the background. Sorry, folks, bear with us. Technical issues. But then again, maybe it's me. Maybe you guys can't hear me. Livian, since I know you're watching, can you comment? Can you hear/see me, or is it Zach that's dipped out? Oh, I saw a flicker from Zach. Yeah, Zach is gone. Okay, that's not good. Zach, maybe try jumping in and out if you can hear me. Like, the interesting thing is I can still hear his TV in the background. I just can't see/hear him. Okay, right. He's muted for now. That's fine. So I shall ramble until he comes back. If he comes
Can you
back.
hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see you. Oh, something's happening. Are you still there, Zach? Sorry, folks. I am going to mute just very quickly to see if I can give Zach a quick call. I need to work out how I mute again. That's the question. Sorry, folks. Sorry for the dead air there. Zach is going to try and jump out and jump back in, so we will see how things go. It says he is offline, which is a good sign because it means he's followed my advice. Mr. Unlivian, what have you said to us this time? Oh, I put the comment up and then hit it at the same time. That was smart. Maybe it's just because hearing impaired, but I can't hear his TV either. Okay, it might be on my end because oh dear, I just hit the mic. Apologies, folks, if that was loud. Um, it might be because on my end, I've also got the studio end of things, I can probably hear from that. So we will see. We will see. Um, if I have to mute again, it's just to call Zach back. So apologies, folks, if that does happen. But again, this is just a live stream test. We're just working things out. Hopefully, by the next time we go live, things will be a bit more smooth. But while I am doing that and trying to get Zach back in here, is there anything anybody would like to talk about or have us discuss? Because I'm sure we would be happy to do that. Okay, Zach is back.
I am back.
There we go. There we go. That worked. I was just telling folks there I might have to try and ring you again just to see if we can get it sorted.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I could still see you. I just couldn't hear you anymore.
Yeah, yeah, that's
And
fair. I was just chatting with Olivia in there. He was saying he couldn't hear the TV, but I could. So I think perhaps I was still hearing the so you know the way backstage Zach, like in our studio, we can hear slash see each other as well. So I think I was perhaps getting two feeds because I could definitely still hear the TV.
well, I
Okay.
was randomly asking if you could hear me while I was trying to sort it.
Yeah. Well, this will happen. Like this is what happens with live streams. Sometimes they're just what do you call it? Janky. But anyway, let me read this
Yeah.
question. Well, if you're looking for a topic to talk on, what's a good way to get someone you know who acts? Sorry. What's a good way to get someone you know who acts selflessly in the name of God? So you're sure as a Christian, but can't seem to. Oh, right. Okay. Oh, right. That's a tough one.
Point
Initially,
them
I
to
was reading that
scripture.
wrong. I was reading that as like selfishly, but he does mean selflessly. So, and let me correct me if we're wrong. This person's bearing good fruit, but they're not attending church. Is that right? You can let us know, obviously, and we'll address it. Now, bearing in mind, folks, this is just Zach and I. So he says correct. Yeah, right, perfect. Yeah, that's a hard one. Like Zach and I have talked about this before on X Spaces. Like I have a old school friend. I'm not going to name his whole name because I don't think that's fair. Not that he'll be watching this anyway, but he's no. You know what? I'll change his name. Let's call him Keith. I ran into Keith. I would say maybe 2 odd years ago. Actually, no, probably longer. Maybe three odd years ago. Um, and he was surprised to hear that like I was a Christian. Because obviously at school I definitely wasn't. And then he was sharing with me a little bit about how he's married now. He's got at the time he had two kids. He maybe has more now, but he was sharing a little bit about his own faith and saying that he had also come to the Lord, and like a lot of his life had changed. So like it all sounded really really good for a while, and then I forget exactly how we got onto this topic. Like maybe I asked him, like what church he's going to or whatever, but he was like, "Oh, like we don't really go to church." So like that kind of threw me for a loop for a little bit because I was like, "Right, okay." And I was like, "Well, were you reading your Bible and stuff?" And he's like, "Do you know something?" He's like, "I don't think I've ever read one book of the Bible cover. Like when I say cover to cover, I don't mean the whole. Well, obviously he's never done that either. But like, say even the Book of Jude, like he doesn't even think he's read the Book of Jude or the letter, I should say. So yeah, that threw me for a loop. So it's a situation I'm kind of familiar with myself, but advice wise, I don't know, Zach. What do you think?
I was just looking it up. I would say point them to if you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at my phone. Um, Point them to scripture, Hebrews chapter 10, 19 through 25.
Yeah,
And in verse 25, it says, "Not forsaking our own assembling together, as is the habit of some, but encouraging one another. and all the more as you see the day drawing near. So, I mean, you shouldn't forsake the gathering of the saints. Like you should be in church.
Yeah, that's definitely something I would tell him. But I think now, again, and Living, you can give us more context if you feel like we're missing it. But if he's anything like the way my friend, what name did I use? Keith.
Keith,
I
I
don't
think.
want to use the real name just in case. I don't think it'll matter because nobody's gonna know who he is bar me. But um, if he's anything like my friend Keith, he will be. It's almost like a cultural Christianity type thing where like he feels like he doesn't really need to go to church. Like he doesn't really need to read the Bible just as long as he believes in God. Um, and unfortunately, there's a lot of people that operate that way, where they operate like as lone wolves. Like Christianity is not a you run your own race, absolutely, but you are not called to live in isolation. You're called to live in a community. Like from the Old Testament to the New Testament, God's people has always been a community. It's always been a covenant people. Like it's a foreign idea to Scripture. Oh, okay, right. He's clarified. That's good to know. He says, yes, that I was typing out culturally as you said it. Yeah, okay. So like this unfortunately is it's very hard to address with people at times because to them they have this idea of, well, all really matters is that I believe in God, that I personally trust in God, I say my own prayers, I do my own thing. That unfortunately is very common with people nowadays because they have this idea of like, well, I don't need the church. That's incredibly wrong. Like we do need the church. Like we need the church for multiple things, like accountability, especially. Like here's an example, and I'm not going to get into this today. Like, so this wasn't technically church, but it was God's people working. I'm very blessed to have two friends that uh care enough about me that were able to bring a few things up to me and be like, hey, look, you need to check this, you need to watch this. That can be incredibly hard to hear because, like, you can almost want to get your defenses up at times. But whenever you know the people and okay, they care for me, you start to listen a little bit better. So, the same thing I would actually say with this is dependent. You don't have to answer this part, obviously, because it's live and it's being recorded, but like, depending on how close you are with him, you might want to sit down or, sit down with him and just lay out a few home truths and just be like, look, you may not realize this, but you need the church and you need it for multiple reasons. You need the church for building you up. You need the church for worshiping with the people. You need communion. So, and I mean like actually the Lord's Supper when I say communion here. So like you cannot partake in communion alone. And sadly, there's a lot of people that do that. They're like, oh, well, I take bread and wine on my own. That's not communion. Like the keys in the name, you're not communing. And I know people will say, oh, but me and God are communing. And I said, well, that still doesn't matter. That's not how that's intended to be. Because also it needs to be rightly administered anyway from the ministers. So I would honestly just sit him down and I would say, look, dude, here's multiple reasons why you need the church because you cannot effectively call yourself a Christian and, reject the people of God. And I know he probably wouldn't say he's rejecting the people of God, but like you still need community. And I'm not talking about, some people are in a situation where they're currently not attending a church through no fault of their own. Either, they live too far from a faithful church, or, they're currently in the midst of looking for a church, or, there are occasions where people may be at a church for a period of time, but the difference there is those people are not actively rejecting, saying, oh, I'm going, oh no, we've dropped Zach again. Zach, if you can hear us, just jump in and out again. So, very sad that happened because I was literally just about to pass it over to Zach. Oh, he's back. Can he hear us though? That's the question. Zach? Zachary? Okay, I don't think he can hear us. Okay, he's out. He'll come back. Um, but yeah, what I was going to say, brother, is I would sit him down. I would just have a. It's hard, but I would have a hard conversation with him. Just tell him that you care about him, you love him, but you need to show him the importance of church and why church is important. And here's the thing: make the invite yourself. Invite him to your church. Um, Offer to pick him up, or if you can, So hopefully Zach comes back in shortly, because I was quite literally going to throw it over to him to see what he had to say on the matter, but I'm sure he'll say pretty much the same thing. There we go. He should be back. Hello?
Hello.
Okay, we can hear you. What was the last thing you heard me say?
Uh,
Oh dear.
what were you saying?
Mainly just the importance of church. I was literally going to throw it over to you anyway to see what you had to say.
So I had just to ask a clarifying question. It's called scripture cut off is too strong.
No, he's
I
not.
don't I don't think
He's
that.
not challenging you on that. He's asking, "Is
Oh,
that the
yeah.
Yeah, I think he's asking, should I start with that, or I don't know. I maybe wouldn't start with it. I would definitely include it. Um, I would first sit down with him and tell him why he needs church, and as part of it, quote that scripture to say that it's actually a command, like it's not just a suggestion; it's a command. But yeah, Zach obviously wasn't saying this, and I know you didn't think he was saying this, but just for anybody that's watching, we wouldn't recommend, just throwing a Bible verse at him and being like, go to church.
I mean, I would. No, I mean, I would. So I actually am kind of in the same. Well, not kind of. I am in the same situation with somebody that I know. Not me. I go to church. Like I get upset if I don't go. Like even if I'm sick, I'll sit at the very back away from everybody. Um, but somebody that's very very close and dear to me. It's a family member. Um, hasn't been going to church and was
Oh,
telling me as like things as if they were still attending church.
yeah.
And then I found out that they weren't because another family member was like, "Hey, did you know that such and such hasn't been coming to church? Like, have you talked to them about it?" And I was like, "Oh, I thought they were still going. Let me just give them a phone call."
Hmm.
So I mean, I did. Unfortunately, there's the saying holds true. You can lead the horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Um, you can throw all the Bible verses you want, um, explain in depth, in detail, logically all that you want. Um, it's really up to the person. And I would say, past what you can do as talking to them and trying to get them to understand where you're coming from, it's really going to take a work of the Spirit to get somebody to come to the conviction of, hey, I actually need to go to church because, like, you do. And
Hmm.
then I would say the only time, and I say this to people all the time, you cannot attend church from your couch. Like if you find a church that you like and they do live streams and stuff or record, like we record our sermons, but we record ours and then we upload them later, and we don't record our entire worship service because if you want to worship, you come to church. We
Yeah.
only record the sermon so that, like, if say I go on vacation next week and I'm gonna miss the sermon at church, I'll miss the worship. Now, obviously, if I'm on vacation and it covers the Lord's Day, I'm gonna find a church wherever I'm at that I can go to, and I would have that pre-planned. But It's we have ours set to where I can keep up with where my church is, right? So we don't live stream, we don't show our entire worship because our ethos, I guess would be the word behind that, is if you want to worship, you can come to Grace Presbyterian and worship with us.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then whenever you said, um, so I'm trying to remember how you worded it. Whenever you said like how people take, I don't even want to call it this. Whenever they eat and drink bread and wine,
Yeah.
and only bread and wine, because that's all it is. If you do that on your own and it's not properly administered and it's not consecrated, like set apart as holy, it's not accomplishing the goal that you think that it is. And you do need communion. Like I've been under a little bit of discipline before and wasn't allowed for one time, and it
Mm-hmm.
it destroyed me. Like it was terrible. And like I don't, now that I'm in church every Lord's Day, like it's almost hard to explain how much whenever you get into that, and I don't want to say routine, like whenever you get into that, I guess for lack of better terms, routine. Like it literally is food for your soul just to gather with the saints.
Yeah.
Like I would much rather, and this might sound terrible to some people, I would much rather gather with the saints at church, gather with my church family than my actual blood family.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean I constantly think about my family, but there's days where I'm like, oh, what's so and so doing? Like, man, I can't wait to see them. On the Lord's Day, I'm gonna hug this part. Like it's such a it's a family.
Yeah.
And then the last thing that I wanted to say, whenever I was while you were talking, I was thinking about it. And you said uh um the thing about being like the lone wolf. Well,
Mm.
if you're really a Christian, now I don't know this person, so I'm not gonna say that they are or aren't. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll take Unlivian's word for it. He says that you're sure is a Christian. Um, they're part of the bride of Christ, and so is everybody else. And if the bride is away from the groom, are they still married? Like you see what I mean? Like
Well, yeah,
um,
they're still married, but like obviously it's a strained relationship. Like you wouldn't
yeah,
say it's a good relationship. Um,
yeah.
yeah, no, that's I think that's a good thing to point out. And like I know you were going down this route anyway, but it just kind of hit me as you said this. Is the other thing I would do as well, and Vivian, is before you speak to them, fast and pray. Like I think sometimes we, well, I'll not say we because I'm not going to throw everyone under the same bus I'm throwing myself under, but I sometimes forget to fast. Like I'll pray, but I don't make as, I need to make a better practice at fasting, is what I'm saying. But I sometimes think we neglect fasting with prayer. And I don't think we realize how powerful that can truly be because you're depriving yourself and trusting everything truly to God. So those are some of the things I think we would say to you. But like I think Zach nailed it whenever he said, you can put everything and lay it all out in front of this person and they could still choose not to listen, in which case you just have to entrust it to prayer. But yeah, take it bit by bit, invite them to church with you, show them that you genuinely do care about them and why you want them to go to church. Like it's not just like because I think for some people it maybe just feels like, oh, like you're ticking off you're wanting me to tick off a box that I feel I don't need to do. And sadly, unfortunately, some people feel that way about the church. But yeah, that would be our advice.
Yeah, and then I do want to add one more thing where his last comment there is quoting the scripture in Hebrews coming off too strong. I mean, it definitely could. Um, your tone and your body language and
That's what I meant by like
uh,
you would never just throw it out there and be like, "You're commanded to go to
right,
church." Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Like personally, what I would do, and this is what I did in my own situation, is I physically went to the person's house. Obviously, it's family, so like I just walked in. I was like, "Hey, I'd like to speak to you for a minute. Can we sit down?" And was and then I went through that part of scripture, and I was like, whenever you hear this, what does this make you think? Like, get feedback from them instead of just being like, hey, this is what it says. You have to do it. Get feedback. Let them know that you're listening, and then work from there.
Yeah,
Find common ground and work up.
questions is a really good way of. I don't want to use the term softening people up, but it helps lower defenses a little bit because like sometimes if you just come at someone and you're like, hey, you're not going to church, blah blah blah, here's why you need to, it can just come across as like pretty much what you said. Like it can come off as if you're being too strong. But yeah, sit down and ask them like why do they feel they don't need to go to church? Like do they not think it's valuable? Do they not think that that they need community? Do they not need spiritual oversight? Do they not need there's loads of questions that you can ask that might draw out a little bit more information as to why this person is you know not attending or feels like they shouldn't attend. And again, I want to make it clear because I know we do have some people, I'll not name who, but like there's some people are currently not at a church because they're health reasons and like they do have to watch online. There's nothing wrong with that if those are legit reasons why you can't attend a church. However, that is not the norm obviously for everyone. For like the rest should be at church. And again, there's seasons where people will be looking for a church, or there's no faithful church around them, and it can be really troubling for people because like it's surprising how many people I know who are in a church and they're like, look, this is the only church I can currently attend, but like I really don't agree with them on a whole lot, but at least they're faithful on the gospel. um and it's sad in a lot of ways, because it's becoming increasingly harder to find a good solid church. And I think part of the reason, and then maybe your friend feels like they don't want to go to churches, a lot of people have been to churches where it can feel and seem very hypocritical. So that probably plays into it as well. But who knows? Let us know in the future. Obviously, like you don't have to tell us live, like you can tell us privately or whatever. But yeah, let us know if you do have a conversation with them and how it goes. So, but thank you for the topic, my brother. That provided a good little bit of time.
Yeah,
Um, and like Zach, I'll probably still be on for another few minutes yet. But I
yeah, that's
think
fine.
I think test wise, yeah, it went not too bad. Like, definitely can't do screen sharing, but um, interview wise, I think it'll be good, and I'm looking forward to like I plan on interviewing quite a few people if they're up for it. But Gabe's, I'm excited for because for people that don't know, Gabe has a bit of a deconstruction journey, but his deconstruction led him straight back to Christ in a deeper manner, which is great, and it's fascinating for me. And I think I think most people's testimonies are great to hear, but I'm actually really personally excited to hear Gabe's testimony. So
I do also want to say in the line of the testing, that last time that I disconnected there was because somebody called me and my iPad is linked to my
to your
iPhone.
phone, yeah,
So it rang on here and
yeah,
killed
that's fine.
everything for me. just to
Well,
remind people.
it again. It's good because it means if you and I do this again, which I hope we will, you'll know now. Just if you lose connection, you're in, jump out and jump straight back in. Um,
Yeah.
in future, these live streams will probably normally have the same link if the link ever changes, because sometimes it does. I'll send you the new link, but should always be the same link.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, we've 58 people watching on my end, which is nice. But if anybody has any questions or anything, let us know. Um, other than that, we'll probably ramble for like another 5-10 minutes or so, and then we'll call it a night for this. And then in the future, I will have this set up a little bit better. So, um, like it doesn't look horrible, but this is definitely not the setup I want. It's like some sort of like dragon scales or something in the background. I have no idea what that is.
I mean, it could be worse, I guess.
It could be. It definitely could be. But I'm just glad to know that it does work for now. Because yeah, I've been so excited to start some of these interviews, and I just feel like I've been having to put it off for so long. Um, but not any longer.
That's a good reminder for me to reset my seat. Sorry for my creaky couch, everybody.
Well, enjoy
This is
enjoy
just
your
what
stretches,
our
brother. I
weird.
know you'll be back, but it's also nice just to be able to highlight comments again. That's something I've missed. Oh
Yeah, I
dear.
like that too because it seems that sometimes you see them before I see them. Whereas like earlier, I was seeing them before you. So
Yeah,
whenever you
yeah.
pop them up there,
So
then I see them come up at the bottom.
So I think I normally should see them first. It's just before what I did was so like I'm able to put my screen at full screen mode, which means it's just me on you on screen. But then I lose access to all the backstage stuff. So like I realized, okay, if I do that, I am not going to be able to see the comments. So I've kept
Yeah.
myself out of it. And again, this is an example of here's how even a few years have made a difference. When I last used this software, I was able to read those comments fairly well. And like I would still say I can still read them well, but like when a comment comes in now, instead of me looking down here on like my studio to see it, it's far easier for me to actually just read it where the comment came in, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Messiers.
I don't know what that is, and I feel like it's
Yeah, I think that's a bot or something.
yeah,
Uh,
well, you're going in timeout. We do not want any of that nonsense. Um,
yeah, there is something that that came to mind, and this isn't an extra answer to Unlivion's question or anything, but I was just reminded of it. Especially whenever I said the words church family. So I can give a little bit of like how church family, like what it means to me.
yeah.
So the first time that I went to the church that I'm currently going to, it was the first time I've ever set foot in a PCA church. Now I'd been to a Presbyterian church before. I don't know that I would call it a church so much, but nonetheless, that's the name that was on the building. Um, but whenever, and I didn't feel very welcomed. Also, I didn't agree with some of the things that I saw in there. But whenever I went to this one, like I was, kind of nervous about it. So
Hmm.
I did sit in the very back, and I wish I could show you a picture of the way our sanctuary is set up. So like on the outside edges of the sanctuary, it's kind of set up like an auditorium where everything kind of
Yeah.
funnels down towards the pulpit. So on the sides leading towards the back of the sanctuary, the pews get shorter and shorter, because there's the walkways and stuff in there. Well, the very last pew seats one person or two kids.
Yeah.
So I sat in the very back by myself. Now I went through the whole worship. I sang and sat and listened and stood and sat back down. All that. And like I was kind of going, just to test it out, and I liked what I heard. Whenever I did come in, and the folks that greeted me, and I purposely got there a touch late. Um, so the ones that did greet me, extremely nice. But my plan was
And
to
just to
cut out
clarify, this was your first time.
at the church that
Yeah,
I
yeah,
currently
yeah, yeah.
attend. Yes, yeah.
Mm. Just to clarify, that's all.
So yeah, so whenever it was getting towards the end, my plan was, all right, well, I'm just gonna cut out, and then on my drive home, because it's a 30-minute one way drive, so 30 minutes there, 30 minutes home. I was
Hmm.
like, I have 30 minutes to think about everything, like how did I like that, not that it should be about me, but if you're looking for a church,
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta like it, or
Hmm.
else you're gonna want to not go.
Yeah. There's a
But before
balance.
I
There's a
and I'm
balance.
telling
You're not.
you,
Sorry, I was just going to say there's a balance. You're not church shopping, but like, yeah, if you
yeah.
really wild example, but if you are, exclusive samity, and like that's important to you, you're not going to enjoy a church that is not exclusive samity. So it's going to matter. Like, would that one be enough of a reason not to attend that church? No, but just as an example, like there are reasons where you do have to be like, okay, am I going to fit in at this church?
So my plan was, and like I'm laughing about it now because it's kind of funny, but it's also a little sad, I guess. My plan, not what happened.
Yeah,
So as I could tell that we were getting towards the end, I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna get up, and since I'm right back here at the very back, the door's right behind me. I'm just gonna cut out and go. And I'm telling you, this woman from the other side of the sanctuary beat me to the door
mm-hmm,
and just didn't ask my name, nothing. She just gave me a hug and she was like, "Thank God you're here."
mm-hmm.
And man, I'm telling you, there was no dry eyes on the way home. You know what I mean? And like instantly, like I felt like family immediately. And then so whenever I came back, the next Lord's Day, because I think at that time they weren't doing night services,
Yeah,
or Sunday evening services, because they were searching for a pastor and they just didn't have enough. So whenever I come back the next Lord's Day, I was like, I'm gonna stick around for like 10 minutes and see, just kind of hang out with people.
yeah.
And I would say I talked to the person who invited me to the church, and which is Bobby, by the way. Uh,
What's up,
I was
Bobby?
like,
If you're
I'm
listening.
gonna stick around. Yeah. Uh, but I was like, I'm gonna stick around for about 10 minutes. Like I was giving it like a little extra more time. And man, I think I was there for like just talking to people for like another hour, like out in the street, literally in the street. But no, like for a whole other hour, and they were just asking like basic questions like hey, like what's your name? This is my name. Like shake hands, hug, all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, like just an instant family, and I can't imagine not having that. I
Yeah,
can walk into an actual like blood family function, like say like a Fourth of July party, since that's coming up. I can walk in there and they'll just be like, hey Zach, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Obviously, I've been
yeah,
around them for 35 years, and I just pop in the door. They're like, oh hey, look, Zach's here. But whenever I get to church, you know, it just seems like everybody wants to, and this isn't just me, obviously, but this is
yeah,
my
yeah. It's across the
experience.
board.
Yeah, like everybody greets everybody. We hug each other. We tell each other that we love each other. Like, oh hey, I've missed you this week. Like I could not wait to see you this week. and we may not even have anything important to talk about or go over or whatever. It's just that we genuinely wanted to see the other person.
Yeah.
And I like whenever I'm out doing my job, I have the opportunity to be able to think a lot because I do my job primarily on my own, or like I'm out on my own doing it. But like I think about my church family all the time, and I'm like, "Oh, I wonder what Miss Diane's doing, or I wonder what Zach's doing, the
Yeah.
other Zach, if you're listening. Um, like I think about them, and I'm like, like the families that do like summer league baseball and stuff. I'm like, man, I wonder how their kids are doing in their tournaments or this. I'm
Hmm.
constantly thinking about them, and it's just the family thing, and to purposely repeat myself, I don't know how you can go without that. I don't get it.
Yep. That's
Yeah,
exactly what happened, brother. But the reason why the bots came in is because you were not on Twitch. So speaking of that,
yeah.
I don't know if you're up for it, brother, and I don't know how to do it just yet. But if you are, because you're normally around for a while, if you fancy being a moderator, let me know. I will need to work out how to do that. But yeah, I probably will need moderators for live chat because I'm not going to be able to see everything, especially if I'm interviewing someone. So,
You talking
um,
to me?
huh? On Livian
Are you
while we're
talking about
talking,
me?
but yeah,
Oh, okay.
I was gonna make you a moderator anyway, but I just mean like I'm probably gonna have a couple because like moderators aren't always on like at the same time. So if I go live, I would like to have a chance of having someone on the moderate. Um, but yeah, bots are just they're always going to show up. So, but Tina is back with us. She had a phone call from family. No problem. Hope it was good, Tina. He says he
Yeah,
could try. No promises. Never been one. Yeah, that's fine, brother. Like I'm not really when it comes to moderation. Like I'm not looking for anything super intensive. Like I don't need you to show up to every live stream or anything. It's more just if it's a live stream happening and you are available, if you could be in the chat and it just yeah, if you see any bots or anything, just remove them or stick them on timeout. Um, I don't really think I'm going to block anyone unless vulgarity happens, but I think my principle will be more just timeouts.
so
But
are you gonna do you're gonna move your Friday thing to this, doing it like this, right?
I think so. Yes.
Okay. Now, is your Friday thing, like, are you wanting that to be like me and you, or like is that part of your interview time also?
No, 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 no. So it'll still be you and I, because it's still effectively going to be a space. It just means now, I'm sorry, people, but you now get to look at our ugly mugs as well, which is a downside for you. But I suppose you could always just black out the screen or whatever. But no, it's just handier for
Hey
us
man,
because like
speak
as
for
you can
yourself.
see, we can yeah, well that's true, but like we can now see your comments and we can interact with them live versus like Zach, think how many spaces we've done where like we end the space and then we go through and you're like, oh, I never saw such and such commented. So yeah,
Yeah.
I am still
Or
still going
all
to
the times
do
that Vincent has left, and I'm like, when?
yeah, yeah. So no, still a lot of this. Sorry, folks. I apologize. I keep hitting this boom mic, so if it's making a racket, I apologize. Now, this one is suspended by elastic, so it's meant to navigate the banging, but I'm sure it's still probably a
I'd
little
say
bit
it's
noisy.
actually, I didn't even notice that you had hit it.
Oh, happy days. The elastic must be working well then. But yeah, Olivia sounds doable. Yeah, that's good. It's more just like as I say, I'm not expecting any like super commitment. Like I know some people have channels where like they now to be fair, they are big channels, so like I understand why they have higher standards. But like there's some guys out there I know that they expect their mods to be like at nearly every stream. Oh, I don't know whether Zach's
No,
dropped out
I'm
or he's just
no, I'm still here. I just need
okay.
to
No worries.
not gross everybody out.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just trying to fix this mic because
Just the
it's.
old smokeless tobacco habit.
Yep, that's fine. So yeah, no, Living, I would be happy to have you as a mod if you would be up for it, and Zach, obviously you as well. But again, it's not like I'm expecting you guys to be on every single stream. But what I was saying is, yes, the interviews. It just means some of them I might do live because it saves me having to do too much editing. Some of them I will probably record on here, just not do it live. So like this enables you to record as well. Like what we're doing right now, it's just it won't be live, which means then whenever it comes to editing, I can skip out parts. Like say for example, I mess up and say something that I shouldn't. Um, or as I say, there's certain words that YouTube does not like. So I really do need to be aware of that because it's been a long, long time since I've been on YouTube, and they have updated their words that can't be used. So
Yeah, I should probably go through and check that list out.
I can most of it's common sense, but obviously like you should say someone is unalived versus
Yeah.
the other thing, and just different things like obviously, and there's no mention of water pistols, by the way.
Oh.
No,
But cannot show them. That's the real
no,
question.
that is definitely not
No.
allowed. I do
Okay.
know they don't allow
Yeah,
that. To be fair, Twitch is the same in regards to that. By the way, they don't allow that to be shown either.
I mean, it's like right there.
Yeah. Well, don't you do it, or otherwise I'm blacking you out. Yes, that is also one word, and that's an example of what we actually have to say as well. Um,
Yeah.
Now, I don't foresee me needing to talk about that subject, but I'm sure it could come up in some regard. Um, Maybe even if I'm covering like news or something. But yeah, there's a few wee words you can't say, which once you realize them, you're like, yeah, okay. Like the likelihood of me saying that anyway is slim. Yeah, Tina gets it.
Sad Tina.
Sadly, none of that. No, we can allude to it. We just can't say it.
The Southerner's heart is broken.
Mhm. Well, as I say, you can allude to it. Just use other terms. Just don't say the word. Welcome, my friend. How are you?
Hello.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. This is just a live stream test. So we're not talking about anything super in depth or anything. But yeah, welcome. So look at Kevin immediately trying to get us kicked off.
So, Kevin, the words that we can't say are.
And mute. Hey, Kevin, good to see you, brother. This is what I'm saying now. Here's now where we're getting more comments on, which is great. But like as you can see, we can now interact in live time, and it means I know you guys can't audibly talk back to us, but obviously, like you can comment, and it means now we can interact. And for the ex regulars, um, that maybe do want to come up and talk, you can let me know. Just message me on X. Like I'm not going to be checking X tonight, so don't ask tonight, obviously. But in the future, if you do want to come up the way you join spaces normally, you can come up here and like, Zach, can you turn your camera off for a second just to show an example? So you can just be like this the same way you are on X, and then Zach, if you can speak.
Hello.
There we go. So you can still be a talking head. You don't have to turn your camera on, so don't panic. Kevin's like, don't want to anyhow. How rude, Kevin. How rude. No, we know,
He
brother.
never has time for us anymore.
Well, we love Kevin. We love Kevin around here. But I know, anyway, brother, I know you said you don't want to, but if you ever do, just let us know, and we can obviously bring you up. Like as I say, you don't have to be on camera. So if anyone's listening and thinks you have to, you don't. So don't panic. Um, and again, hopefully we don't get any more bots. We've only had one so far. So
Yeah, and strangely enough, it was on Twitch. I figured it would have came from YouTube.
No, I'm not surprised at that. Twitch is notorious for bots. That's why, as I say, like it and you like YouTube's not too bad nowadays, but like YouTube used to be notorious for bots as well. Like it still is in a lot of ways, but and then X, yeah, X isn't too bad. Um, sorry, rubbing my eyeballs there. Someone did ask me if I can stream to Instagram, so I can. But I don't know. There was some reason I didn't click Instagram tonight because it either says either you have to upgrade to the higher plan, which I have no intentions of doing, or I think you might need to have a certain number of subscribers or something to do that. So I'm sure, yeah, definitely, brother. Come up anytime you want. Oh no, don't do a restart. My laptop's trying to make me
Also,
restart.
for oh no, I was gonna say if you want to reiterate about the quality and how this isn't the final product.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just doing the restart business, Zach. So if you could take care of that for me, that'd be perfect.
So Layman is on a laptop that he boxed into submission. So
Need
that's why
need
things
in the
seem kind of
submission.
laggy.
Yeah,
He need it. Sorry, he kickboxed it um,
no.
into submission. So it's not very good. That's why like even me like where I look laggy, like if I move my hand like this, it just lags.
Yeah,
So it's not actually on my end. Now I am on a tablet, which is
yeah.
probably slowing down a little bit, but it's mostly the host, which is not me. Um,
It's just because this
and
laptop's got
so
8 gig of RAM, which for streaming is just like
yeah,
it can do it, as you can obviously see, but it's just not ideal for it. So,
yeah, and
but
like I think this iPad has like 64, so it's not. I
yeah.
mean, it's capable of doing it, but I'm very limited in what I can. Like, I can't even reply to comments or anything. I can just look at them.
Well, you've got your laptop, you just don't have it with you tonight. So whenever you're next on your laptop, you can reply to the comments, which is good. But it just means it's far nicer now for us, and hopefully it's nicer for you guys watching as well. Because now, whenever you interact, we can respond to you in real time with a slight delay. I think there's like a 30-second delay we worked out, but comparatively, we used to do these spaces, and as I said, we would end them. Oh, we may be lagging. There is dead air at times. Is this the lagging? It could well be, Tina. Yeah, it could be struggling a little
Yeah.
bit. So bear with us. The live streams will. I'm probably not going to do another live stream until I get my new laptop, which will be roughly in about 2 weeks, because that's when Prime Day is on Amazon. So I will have an improved laptop for then, which means it shouldn't be lagging anymore. But yeah, if there's dead air at the moment, it's probably just X struggling to hold things, because technically this has been live streamed first to YouTube and then Twitch and X. So yeah, that Olivian's confirming that. Basically said I think it's an X thing. Things are over here, okay over here, but that's, as I say, that's because X is technically the third platform on the list, so it's receiving more of a
Can
delay.
you change the order of what it goes to?
I think so. Yeah, not now. I can't now that I've started, but like in the future, yeah.
Right. Yeah. But before, so I would say maybe since we know that X is going to have the biggest delay, send
Mm-hmm.
it there first and then YouTube. And since Twitch is the fastest, do Twitch last. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
So just go in reverse order from what you have it
Mm-hmm. Tina says, "Okay, no problem. My biggest hurdle is reading my own text." Oh, don't worry, Tina. Like, I was just actually complaining there myself. Like, it's like my eyesight is still good, but I do notice, like I was saying to Zach there, normally when I would put someone's comment up, I would be normally able to read it off the screen here, so like in smaller setting. But it's easier now for me to go over to where your actual comment is and read it there. So even my eyesight's going. It's going to be time for me to get glasses, I think.
Sorry, I
Okay.
had to say something to my mule. What was I? I was gonna say something.
I don't
Oh,
know.
I was gonna tell Tina not to worry about her hurdle of reading her own text. So I'm in these ordination classes, and we just started our questions for our book of church order, and some of the questions I know he wants us to summarize the answers, but I'm such a BCO nerd that I write out the entire thing. There was one question where it's literally like 2.5 pages long. Like even whenever I was telling you earlier, I wrote another one that was even longer.
Yeah.
Um, but it's because like I'm a stickler for words. Words are important. They matter. They're there for a reason. I can't summarize it, so like I have to put it all out there, and I can't read my own handwriting. So
Oh, Zachary.
it's terrible.
Are you doing cursive or?
So actually, the way that I write, well, I don't have anything near me that I've written on, and I'm afraid to move.
Yeah.
um,
Speaking of
the
that,
way that
keep
I
talking.
write,
I'm still going to be here. I just need to. Oh,
yeah,
apparently
uh,
I can't hide my own camera.
even with the camera button at the bottom.
Yeah, it's not there for me. It's just microphone for me.
I wonder if, well, no. I was gonna say, I wonder if it's because you're a host, but I know that you said you and Tim use this, and I've seen Tim.
Yeah. Um.
You can just put your hand over it.
Yeah, I'm just going to tilt the camera away for a second. That's just.
But yeah, no, the way that I write is so like I write at an angle. It almost looks italics, honestly. So it's like half cursive, half print, but all at an angle. And teachers in school could not stand it. They I I remember one time I had to stay after school for like 3 days straight. This is in like middle school, so that they could teach me to write better, like literally write better. And it never, I couldn't do it. There's like, no, okay, so hold your pencil this way, and your hand will naturally. Nope, sorry, it doesn't work like that for me. But yeah, I can't read my own writing. It is horrendous. If you know the phrase, it looks like a chicken scratching in dirt. That's my handwriting. It's almost worse than a doctor.
So, question for you, and I'll be back on screen now in a second. Whenever you say you write at an angle, I know a few guys that used to do this at school as well. Are you also one of these people that turn the page at an angle to
Yes.
write? Yeah,
Yep.
yep, yep. I know the
So
type.
even so, here's the problem is that I always think like whenever I was just saying that I had to stay after school a few days in middle school and they were teaching me. So part of that was that I always have my paper turned to the side a little bit, and they're like, if you just turn the page straight up, then that'll correct your writing at an angle, like as it goes on the paper, and it'll be more straight up and down and legible. And it
Mm-hmm.
actually gets worse.
Yeah. So yeah, Tina. Just so you know, we. No, that's not Tina, is it?
Yeah, that's seen.
Oh
That's
yeah,
her.
yeah, yeah. Sorry, for some reason
That's
the
her Twitter.
handle. Yeah, the handle threw me off. Um, yeah, I am dark because I'm just Zach and I weren't really planning on doing this tonight. We just thought we were on space and we're like, you know what, we'll test out and see whether this live stream works. So for light, I'm just kind of shining my tablet at my face. That's why I keep leaning over to tap it. So anytime I go dark, it's just my screen's timed out essentially. Um,
I think she was also talking about where you just had it set off to the side for a second there.
Oh yeah, because there's a delay on X. Yeah, sorry, Tina. I just had my tablet turned away for a minute, so that's all that was. But yeah, she's a lefty as
So yeah,
well.
I'm not left-handed. I'm right-handed. I just write like a lefty, if that makes sense.
Like
Dude, it's so
my
bad.
writing's not great. I love writing in my journal, but because I know I'm the only one that reads my journal, so like I have poetry and stuff in there, or like poems that I'm trying to work on, put it that way. I don't really worry about my handwriting because I'm like, yeah, well, no one's going to be reading this bar me anyway. So, but there's a big debate recently. I shouldn't say debate, but there's a big discussion recently about like people on X talking about how like whether they can read cursive or whether they can't read cursive, and it's just like it's fascinating to me because like I can still write in cursive. I just choose not to. I prefer print.
All right, I'm gonna attempt to show you some of my writing here. If I can get this paper to come out.
He's going to show us
Oh,
his
come
bank
on, man.
statement. Everybody get ready with a screenshot.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh no, I got my papers out of order. That's gonna bug me. Let me fix this. This is also incredibly difficult because I'm having to hold
Yeah,
this
you're
and
holding
hold
your
these
tablet.
papers.
Yeah,
All right, I don't know how well. Look at this. Oh,
yeah, we can kind of see it.
oh, my camera. There we go.
Yeah, no,
Look
as
at
I say,
that. That's
we
terrible.
can kind of see it. But as long as, like, I know you said you sometimes struggle to read it, but like, as long as you can work out what you've said, that's the main issue.
Yeah.
Also, by the
So
way, because the not to change subject, because the lights on me better now, I'm sure people can now see I 100% got burnt today. So there's my face and there's my arm. Like you can tell the tone difference. Sorry, I am not speaking to you. Be quiet. That's the worst thing about an Apple Watch. You say anything, and Siri's like, "What was that?"
I'm glad I don't have one.
Oh, do you not have an Apple Watch now?
No, so I did, and I got so tired of it because it kept sending. Um, so like I had the location on it turned on,
Mm-hmm.
and it kept sending like recommendations for local restaurants and hotels and where's all the gas stations. I'm like, this is the town that I live in. I know where everything's at. Please stop. And I couldn't get it to quit, so I sold it. Like it was
I
sending me text messages on my phone, and I'm like, no, I don't need to know where this is.
yeah, I the only reason I really have this is because it came in a bundle with my phone. But like I more times than enough let this thing run out of juice and then forget about it for a couple of days, and I'm like, oh, I should probably charge it, put it back on. But I like Apple Watch. It's not bad, but like I used to be a Samsung guy, so So Olivian here is just making fun of me, saying that my face is redder than his hair. To be honest, right now I think I would be redder than a red heifer.
The red heifer.
The red heifer.
Let's not go down that road.
No, this definitely
We'll
not.
be here for another 3 hours.
Not just another 3 hours. I think we might get more than bots chiming in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So old cursive, yeah. So that's pretty much what was going around on X. Someone apparently shared a recipe, and apparently, like the majority of people couldn't read it. Now I could read it. There was a few words here and there where it was like, "What is that?" Because like Some of it was, it's not necessarily that it was cursive that it was the problem. It was just the person's handwriting, like, because some of it was squiggly. But apparently it sparked a whole debate over, people that can't read cursive versus people that can. And I was just like, it's really not that big of a deal.
Yeah, so my Meemaw, my grandmother, so like they used to teach cursive in school. Now, whenever I was in, oh gosh, probably like the third grade, I think third or fourth grade was like the last year that we had like a dedicated like teach these kids how to write in cursive.
Yeah.
Um, and there was a certain style that we would have to follow, and it's like the same style that my Meemaw writes in. Like let's say like if my mom writes something in cursive, it's the same cursive style that my Meemaw uses. Like it was like a standardized thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it is it maybe it is like a just an age thing, like because
Yeah.
nobody writes in cursive anymore. I would much rather, like if my Meemaw was to write something down for me, like say she made a grocery list,
Yeah.
I can, I mean, I read it just fine. Now, let's say that I write my own grocery list and I try to make it look good enough to be legible as I'm grocery shopping. I can't read it,
Mm,
because like there's something it's just feels easy on the eyes to me. But I have heard people say like, what is this? Because like the lowercase
yeah.
b looks nothing like a b. Like what you would think, and they're like, what's this? What's this word here?
Mm-hmm.
Why does this say lest? And I'm like, that's best.
But you see, here's the thing, and here's where, sorry, folks. That's probably very loud now that I've a mic in front of me, so
Yeah,
apologies.
no, that
Well,
muffled it some.
that's good. My voice recently, I don't know. I'm long over the cold I had, but like I've noticed voice wise, my voice is going
Just
something
kind of
serious.
lingering a little bit.
Yeah, but this is what I mean by though. But I think this might be partially to do with my age because like I'm 34, like I'll be turning 35 in a couple of months now. Um, we're in that sort of like you and I are in that sort of bridge between older generations, younger generations. Like obviously you and I aren't like we're not ancient, even though we joke that we are. But you know, I
Fine.
I sometimes get a little bit annoyed whenever I see some people on X, making fun of the younger ones. It's like, oh, I can't believe you guys don't know how to read cursive or whatever. And it's like, you can't
It's not
say
being
that.
taught.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You can't say that if it's not been taught to them in school. Like, I remember when I went into high school, they were still teaching cursive and they expected it in first year. But lo and behold, and as I say, I think this is more just to do with the fact that we were right on this cusp of this like time period transition.
Yes.
2003 would have been my second year in high school. All of a sudden, they just were like, yeah, you don't need to write in cursive anymore because the curriculum had changed. Now it was like they wanted us to write in print. So that was right around the time where most curriculums for, most schools were changing. So that's what I mean by we're on the interesting brink of we technically grew up with cursive, but also we grew up in the time period where it was kind of been faded out. So it's always really interesting because like I remember writing in cursive in high school, but nowadays like I can't tell you the last time I even did it. So
Hmm.
whenever I say I get annoyed at it, I don't mean like irritated annoyed, but it's kind of like I think all generations do this to each other. Do you remember whenever we were younger and like your parents would always say something like, "Oh, that music you listen to is not actually music. Like it's not like the music of my day." And it's like, yeah, okay. But to be fair, I now do that as well. Like I listen to some of the music the younger guys do, and I'm like, that's not music. That is literally noise.
Yes, it is just
So,
noise.
well, yeah, some of it is. So there's a good example. I've never needed it for anything but my signature. That is one thing where I will say I have the world's worst signature. and I think I need to practice cursive again to try and get a nice signature. Because honestly, my signature is just print, and it looks bad.
I think if your signature is just print, let's say that like you came over here and got a driver's license, you, I- it, at least in Tennessee, which is where I am, if you write it in print, they will not accept it. You have to write it in cursive.
Oh, I'll give them a squiggle, no problem. It's just it's not going to be intelligible.
Now, I mean, mine's not either, but every time I sign my name, it's the only thing you can make out. So obviously, my first name is Zach, and then my last name starts with a V, and that's where like my username and all that comes from. It's the
Mhm.
first four letters of my last name and the first three letters of my first name.
Yeah.
Um, but the only thing you can make out is a Z, part of a K, a V, and a T. That's it. That's all you can make out. And I don't even cross the T.
Yeah, well, I can't say anything because I don't even try and write my name in cursive. So, Kevin there, sorry, said I no, he did add in a clarifier here. I not a well, technically it is a clarifier, but I don't know where the word code is meant to go, whether it's in the middle or the end of it. But I will stop calling it old people code, I guess. Or is that how you would read that, Zach? Or
I don't know how I would read it.
yeah, so his sentence here that
Um,
I have up, there was a word missing, and then he added this in code. So I'm assuming it's I will stop calling it old people code.
maybe.
Yeah. Sorry, Kevin, my brain switched off, so that's probably really clear. And you're right. Yeah, he said, yeah, okay, yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
It's my bad, brother. My brain switched off. Um, and then Tina. Oh, Tina's comment did not appear. Oh, there it is. I knew it was there. Place your mark, X. Yeah, yeah. That's something I need to practice. I need to practice doing a signature. And then Olivian says coded. I think he meant. Yeah. Well, that's what I say. I'm in that weird cusp where like I like self deprecating a little bit. Like I like saying I'm old because like in some respects I am. But then there's other areas like where um it's kind of funny because like Zach obviously can testify to this, but like some of the young guys we hang out with and like talk to, especially in group chats and stuff, it's really funny because like you can tell they're doing that like almost little brother thing where it's kind of like, oh yeah, just ignore the oh, this is his signature. Okay, that's a proper signature. Mine's is definitely nothing like that.
And I was actually wrong. I don't even put a T in there. It's just a Z, part of a K, a V, and an M.
Hmm. Well, your signature looks proper. At least I don't. Mine's is just anyway. I'll read Kevin's comment here in a minute. But I was just saying, like, it's funny because sometimes you can tell those young kids are just like, or I shouldn't call them kids. I have a real bad habit of doing that. Those young men. I love how they treat Zach and I because like they treat us with respect, but it's also that type of like, yeah, okay, boomer thing. Because like we'll say something because like they're sometimes talking in numbers, and I mean quite literally talking in numbers, and I'm just there like, sorry, translate, and they're like, oh, old man, but they do it in like it's a genuinely respectful way. So
The
so well,
Pilgrim
Zach,
gets so upset about it.
who?
Presby Pilgrim.
Oh yeah.
He went off.
So Kevin says, I joke with the kids. Sorry, I need to stop hovering my mouse over that or I'm not going to be able to read it. I joke with the kids at school, if the digital world goes down, the old folks will have their own code with analog. Yeah, in cursive. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. You would see a generational divide. I'll say that much. That's for sure.
You know,
I
where
identify
he
with that
said,
remark.
where, where Kevin said analog time.
Yeah.
One of my nephews was over here, and so I have this big clock on my wall. Um, I would show you, but honestly, now I'm afraid of pushing buttons. But it's
Yeah.
a
Please don't.
regular, it, it's a regular 1 through 12 clock. It's got a minute hand and an hour hand. Actually, looks like I need to put back. No, it's running. I thought I had a second hand, but I guess I don't. But it's been here for years, And one of my nephews was over here, and I asked what time it was. He was like, I don't know, my phone's dead.
Yep.
I'm like, there's a clock on the wall. He's like, I don't know how to read that thing. I'm like, what?
Oh
You
dear.
don't know how to read that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you the little shorthand, what number is it going to? Like, so go to the number below it. And then the longhand, where's it at? And then it says the minute above the hour. And
Yeah.
he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, okay. I had to take it off the wall and
Yeah.
teach him how to read a regular clock.
Yeah. But like again, like it's so strange to us. But like every generation goes through this with like one thing or the other. But again, it is that type of thing of like you think about it, they have grown up. Like so for us, I got my first phone pretty. Oh goodness, I don't know what age I was, but like I was still technically a kid. Like I wasn't a teenager, so like I was probably like 11 or 12 or something. Phones obviously were not that. They're nowhere near what they were now. Like my first phone was a brick, like that was the size of it, and then when you extended the aerial, it came out to about here. Like you were walking around with like a giant brick attached to your head. But like so, we grew up with technology to a degree, but these young kids now, and again, young men and women, but there is also kids as well. They are quite literally growing up in an era where everything is tech based. So it's no surprise to me that if they encounter something like an analog clock, they're probably looking at it and going, "What on earth? Like, how do you read that?" And it seems so dumb to us, but again, we don't recognize the fact. But yeah, we grew up learning that they didn't. Like they're
Hmm.
used to
Yeah.
looking at the phone. But the interesting thing is that you say that because like yes, there is obviously people that struggle to read analog. However, I have had a couple of comments on X, like maybe not many, maybe two to three. So yeah, no, a couple was fair to say then. Where I've somewhere, posted like so military time, like oh going live at whatever time. I've had people say to me like I don't know how to read that. Like what is that? And it's kind of like okay, so like you've got people that don't know how to read analog, but then you've also got people that don't know military time either. So it's just interesting. So
Yeah. So whenever I was teaching my nephew and my niece how to read an analog clock, like a just a normal old clock.
hmm
Um, I was telling them, I was like, there was a time because they always make the joke that, and it burns my soul up. Like, well, we weren't born in the late 1900s like you, and I'm like, like it just
I mean,
every time it gets me. It's true, but
it's I was gonna
every
say
time
like
I'm like,
I kind
man,
of laugh at it though, but because like it is an
hmm
accurate statement. So whenever they say it, I'm kind of
yeah.
like, fair enough. But like, it's
But
mad to hear
I
it
was
put
I
like
was
that.
telling them, yeah. But I was telling him because I was like, one day, like, what are you gonna kind of like Kevin was saying, what are you gonna do whenever that phone stops working? And then they're like, well, phones are always gonna work. I'm like, I don't know. Like back in my day, gave the old
hmm
man speech. But
Yeah.
I wanted to mention, do you remember text messages costing? So I don't know what it was there, but like
Well,
whenever
it's
I first
ten
got
p
a
a text
phone,
for us.
it was like 5 cents to send a text and then 10 cents to receive one. So you only texted people if it was important. And
I
I remember
somebody
having to wait until after 6 o'clock at night to call people so that it didn't
was cheaper.
cost minutes on my phone bill.
Yeah.
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 Oh, no, it was free.
Okay. So somebody, like, if anybody's watching from the UK, they can correct me, because like this is going back a brave number of years. But the way ours used to work, I don't think we ever got charged to receive texts, but like our texts were pricey enough going out. So like it was, I think the way our phone bills used to work is like, I'm making this up, by the way. This part's just an example, so like don't take this as literal numbers. But like, say you got like a phone plan with like O2 back in the day, they would say your first 25 texts a month are on us. They're free, right? Every text after that, it'll be 10p a text. But what they didn't tell you was, you had, whenever you sent the text, you only had access to like 33 characters. So it still showed as one text that you were sending, but if you went over the 33 characters, so like say you went to like 99 characters, that broke down into three texts, meaning that one text you sent, you would
Yep.
have got a wee beep beep, and then it would be like 30p minus off your balance. So
Hmm.
again, like you were saying, we only text if it was important. But it's mad looking back at those days now though, but and thinking that's how we used to live life. Because similar to what you had um with your nephew about, the clock. Um, so the way, I'll not say too much here because I don't want to give away where I live, obviously. But like here I am right now. Like this thing I'm touching, here's my curtain to my bedroom window. So like I can literally look out my window right now and see my uncle's house. So his son lives there. So my cousin, and I was over there a couple of days ago setting up his new phone from, because he's had like a really old phone for years, because like they don't upgrade them to like really pricey phones, which I think's good, because like they try and limit him to not be on tech too much, because again he's that generation that was raised on tech. But his mum had bought, it doesn't work, it's just for like display, but the dial up, like the circular phones that you used
A
to put your
rotary
finger.
phone.
Rotary phone, thank you, I couldn't get the name. She had brought one of them in, and she was like, "Oh, we should." I almost said his name. I'll not mention his name. I'll call him Steve. She basically said, "Steve, have you ever seen how one of these work?" And he was like, "No." I was like, "How would you call someone, like, if we give you the number now, like say 077 whatever, like how would you call that?" And I am not joking. No word of a lie. Instead of like putting his finger in and like rotating right, he was pressing it as if it was buttons, and he was like, "I don't think it's working." And it was one of those situations where like I didn't want to laugh at him, but at the same time internally I was like, "Oh, I'm old. I'm really old." It's just it was
Somewhere around here, we still have a rotary phone, and now I kind of want to hook it up and just use it.
a lot. A lot of people are now, because like they're buying them, because like you can still buy them, like they're still being made for, like, as I say, most people
Yeah.
use them now for like accessories. Like that's what my uncle's wife bought it for. It's just decor. But you can
Hmm.
still buy them and use them, and I think a lot of people are using them now because like it is a nice little bit of nostalgia. But again, there's an
Yeah.
example of something I grew up seeing, and you just look at it and like you instinctively know how to use it because you grew up with it. But here was this poor critter, like literally pressing. It's not even a button, like it's just a hard piece of plastic in the middle with a number on it. And here's him pressing the buttons, going, "I don't think it's working." And I was just like, "Oh no,"
Hmm.
because there was a
Do you
mixture of
remember
laughing
like?
at him. Sorry, go ahead.
Do you remember like being on, like, say if you were online playing a video game or in some chat room with your friends or something? I don't know if y'all had. So we had the
Oh yeah,
at least around my area, what was popular was MSN Messenger,
oh yeah. Mm,
and so like I'd be on there, like talking to
MySpace
my
and
friends and stuff, and then I'd be like, "Oh guys, I gotta go. My mom needs to use the phone." Do you remember those days?
yes, because dial-up internet.
Yep.
You
Yep.
always got you always got the shout up the, well, depending on, because some people might live in a one floor thing, but you always got the shout up the stairs. "Are you on the internet? I need to use the phone." And it's like, oh,
Yeah. Or
uh,
if somebody called while you're on the internet. and it would just like it wouldn't kick you off. It would just lag so bad that you
Urs
just
had
logged
like a
off
weird
anyways.
beeping. Urs had like a, the dial up tone whenever you were first connecting to the
Hmm.
internet, that little dial up tone. Urs had like an alternate version of that as well if someone was trying to
Mm.
ring, because it was like an indication someone's trying to get through to you. Um,
Yeah.
I'll read your comment now in a minute, but here's another thing that kids today obviously don't grow up with. But do you remember you always knew you were about to get a text? Because if you were beside something like a TV or, a microwave, you would hear
A
the
radio.
it was like the static coming
Yeah.
through, and it's like, look how far now we've advanced. Like, you don't know you've got a text now until you've got it. But back in the day, so if people don't know what we're talking about here, which I'm assuming most of you do, I would say our audience probably do anyway. But it, and it was always, I don't know how long I would be making a fool out of myself now if I said like what time period it was, but it was always like a good 10 to 15 seconds before the text even came through. So, because sometimes you would hear the noise and then you would be thinking to yourself, "Oh, I still haven't got the text," but sure enough, it would eventually come through. So, Tina says, "How about the old crank phone when you had to rely on the operator?" So, I had no personal experience with this. I remember, obviously, when I was very young, like a child young, I do remember my gran and stuff like ringing the operator and being like, "Could you connect me, say, to the bakery or whatever?" So I do remember it. I just don't have any personal experience with it. Like my era was definitely the rotary phones, which then, yeah,
Yeah.
Tina,
So like
go ahead.
we didn't have like here everything was like I guess like from what I when I can begin to recollect, um, like we didn't have the like an operator sitting at a switchboard or anything. Like we had already
Yeah.
upgraded from that by the time I can remember anything. But at my granny's house, so my great grandmother, um, I remember she had the very large one that was like, I mean, this thing had to be like 20 pounds. Like you couldn't hang it on a wall. It was sitting on on her table,
Mm-hmm.
or in like on the counter in the corner. And I guess if she used it now, I think that there was something that you could do to them that like updated them or something.
Yeah.
And I do remember her using it where like she had to hold the thing up and then she had to talk into the receiver.
Yeah.
And but like it was like a regular phone. I don't know
Mm,
what the upgrade was, but
yeah.
I remember her. She would take it off the counter, put it on her kitchen table, sit down at the table, have a phone conversation, put it back on the counter.
Yeah.
So I mean, I remember seeing those, but like the days of having to rely on an operator to switch you over, like those were already done.
Yeah.
Whenever, at least in my area, whenever I was coming up.
Mm. So like Tina even said there previously, like, no, this is something I do remember. Um, Rotary phones also had a party line. The reason why I know this is, whenever I was growing up, I did not know that multiple people could be on the phone at the one time. And I remember I was very, very young. So, like, whenever I say this was a girlfriend, it wasn't actually a girlfriend. It was just two kids when, oh, she's my girlfriend type of thing. But I remember calling this girl at her house before because, like, she, you get, they give out the house number, but then you rang it, and like obviously, of course, like the parents answer, so it's either the mum or the dad. It was always that really awkward thing of like you would call and it would be like, say the Smith residence or whatever, and they'd be like, "And who are you?" And it was always like, I'm Jenny's friend," and they were like, "Friend?" And I was like, "Yeah." So you eventually get put through, and like 5 minutes into the conversation, all I could hear was, "I think my mum's on the other line," and I was like, "Wait, what? She can listen in?" And like, sure enough, like the mum like had muffled the
Yeah.
talking into part, and it was like she eventually spoke. She was like, "Okay, Jenny, you need to come off the phone now," and I was like, "Oh man." So yeah, party lines, yeah, definitely. But there's something else I was going to say there about phones, and I can't remember what now. Oh yes. Now this is a really old one. Now my grand didn't like this wasn't around in like obviously it was around in her time, but what I mean is like she purposely bought this one. I think it's similar exact to what you were saying. This one was like a two piece. Like you physically had to hold the ear receiver and the voice receiver was a separate thing. So you weren't holding like a handle phone. You were holding two different bits of equipment. So I remember seeing her use that a fair bit as well. But again, I think she just kept that. Like, I think that was probably like her parents' phone or whatever, and like she just kept it as like a not a souvenir. What do you call it?
Like a keepsake.
Yeah, but there's another name that I have in my mind because like it's. I don't want to say it sounds like souvenir, but it's in the same. Hmm.
I just keep thinking of keepsake. Like you keep it.
I think I was going for memento.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. My brain kind of died on me there. So, oh, right, folks, we are nearly at 2.5 hours, so I will probably hop off very shortly. Hang on. Okay, so you're at my time. Oh yeah, Tony. Sorry, I recognize you now, brother, from the stream. Yeah, I didn't expect to wake up at 3 a.m. and find this. Yeah, well, make sure you get back to sleep, brother. It's the Lord's Day coming. Um, And speaking of that, I'll obviously have to get off very shortly too. But good to see you, brother. Glad you jumped in. This is just a little test. Things are going pretty well. Just definitely no screen sharing. We can't do that much. And then yeah, Tina was saying antique. Yeah, it was definitely a little antique phone, but I think the word I was going for is like it was like a memento of like older times. Now it's a good job I'm not trying to do a professional stream tonight because this boom mic is constantly falling. I need to try and hook it up somewhere better because I noticed even in the stream with Tim and he only got up to the bathroom. Well, thank you for dropping in, brother. We don't want to keep you. You get back to your shut eye. Um. Uh. What was I saying there?
About the
Oh yeah, the boom
memento
mic. It
and
just it keeps falling. So like, if you see me like,
oh
I
my.
yeah, I think just unfortunately there's an area that I haven't tightened because it's falling, but I'll deal with it off stream because like trying to deal with it right now it'll be a nightmare. But yeah, funny enough, Tony Tina actually mentioned this a while ago. We were just talking about some of the phones we grew up with, and then some of the phones we remember seeing from like our parents and our grandparents had as well. Now there's a good idea if I've ever read one. Tie the mic to my beard. I would love to, but knowing me, I would get off stream, forget about it, walk away and rip my beard out. To which Olivia says, "Ow, yeah, pretty much." Now, either Twitch is very fast, or it must be. Yeah,
Yeah.
fair play. Twitch is doing well, which is funny because Twitch wasn't even the primary destination. Primary destination was YouTube. But yeah, next stream I will try and switch those around a little bit and see if it improves X. Um, but yeah, we'll be here for like another 10 minutes, folks, and then we'll hop off. So if you have any questions for me or Zach, let us know. Um, and yeah, next week I will attempt to go back to a teaching space. Okay, night, brother. I'm going to be on my way shortly as well, brother. Once I finish this stream. So good night, brother, and thanks for popping in. God bless you. Um, Goodness, my brain. This is why I'm glad you're on as a co-host because like it's been so long since I've done streaming. It's yeah, the brain goes, and then you're like, what was I saying?
I like that we're testing this tonight, and then in the morning I have to get up early. And this isn't you're not keeping me from
Yeah,
anything, but because it's only 9 here, so
yeah,
um, but I have to get up early because um, our camera and audio that we use. Now, there's nothing wrong with the camera, but we've had some issues with our audio. And it's the audio is always the most questionable thing because the way we have to do it is such a weird way,
Yeah.
and it's so dumb. But anyway, so I bought some like lapel or tie mics or whatever, just have like a little clip, and so I have to get up early and go to church, and then me and Bobby have to, you know, before everybody gets there, make sure that we test it because I've had to work all week. He's had to work all week, and uh, he lives. So like we both live the same distance pretty much from church. Like it takes the same amount of
Yeah.
time, but he lives north
Opposite
of church, and
directions.
I live like east, kind of southeast of church. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're just completely opposite directions from each other. It takes me almost 45 minutes to get to his house, and that's because I speed on the back roads. But
No, you don't. Just for anyone
so
listening, no,
like
you don't.
with my seatbelt on and
Yeah.
yeah, all neck restraint devices, yeah,
Hmm.
everything's safe.
Yeah.
Um, but so yeah, we have to go test that. So I guess I'm just gonna be in a tech testing, little couple of days here.
You definitely are. Because
Hopefully
like
this
I'm,
works
I'm.
out because
Yeah. You get your. Sorry, folks. I am just again, as I say, I'm trying not to rip wires out left, right, and center. But yeah, you're helping me test this, and then church obviously testing stuff out for that. So, but this has been good. Like as I say, I don't think I realized how much I missed this because like I'm a talkative person. I love talking anyway. So I'm really excited for the fact that obviously this one's not going to be able to do it because like as you could see the 8 gigabyte of RAM is it's barely holding you and I on here, never mind adding a video. Like it sort of did it, but it's not going to be watchable quality, so which
well,
is fine.
I was actually going to say that I think the longer we've gone on, honestly, at least on my end, the better it's gotten.
I closed down all my windows as well. I had a lot of pinned windows open, just tabs that I use regularly, but like I can always re-add those later. But I'm glad I upgraded because it means I can add my logo and stuff on. I just realized my logo didn't actually appear here, but that's because I changed the scene. To be fair, so but in the future I will set this up because the nice thing about this is once you set up so backstage they call it a scene. So once you set your scene up, like the theme will stay the same then for every live stream you do. So um yeah, so we will be closing out, folks, in about 8 minutes. So as I say, if you have any questions for us, feel free to ask. Um, and again, I put the offer out there. If you know anybody that you think would make a good interview for the channel, let me know. I do have a list of people at the moment, so like there'll be a bit of a backlog. Um, and the podcast is coming, folks. It really is coming. I'm just delayed because the guy that's making the music, he's just got a lot on at the moment, and I know I could upload it without the music, but I kind of want the music to be there. So, but it also allows me to get more of a backlog, so I can't complain.
Yeah. So how many do you already have for the podcast? Do you already have recorded?
Just 4 at the minute. So the intro episode, which is only about 20 minutes, and then 3, uh, yeah, three topics, um, to come out, and then I was going to record more, but I have had so many other things I'm doing at the minute. Like I've written quite a few articles to come out in July. Um, so that'll be a bit. It won't be busy for me anymore now because they're scheduled, but it was a busy month getting it prepared for July. So, but yeah, we'll see
Yeah.
how things go. And now the main focus for me now for the next wee while will be the channel. Because obviously, sorry folks, I know this is a very messy setup at the minute, so apologies for the moving. I will have a desk in front of me next time, so I'm not moving around so much. But yeah, channel wise, YouTube, I'm going to try and focus more on the videos in the meantime because they seem to be, more people seem to be saying they're more helpful versus the articles. So still going to continue to write articles because, like, on Substack, there's a decent little audience over there, but like YouTube seems to be more where people are watching and interacting. So cater for them. Tina says maybe her friend Matt, he witnesses to Muslims. Yeah, sure, absolutely. If he's someone you'd want to see on, let me know. You can give me his details and I can get in contact with him.
Yeah.
But as I say, we will have Mr. Gabe on very shortly. That'll be fun. And yeah, I feel like I'm kind of repeating myself here now, which I am, but that's because I've ran out of things to say. So what we will perhaps do, folks, is we will end it here now. Because we've only 5 minutes left anyway. So thank you very much for watching, folks. Zach, thank you for helping me test out. Apologies that there's been little dips and things with the stream that will improve over time. And I'm getting used to how to use this software and stuff again. So thanks very much for bearing with us. Kevin here says it works well. Good to see your faces. Have a great Lord's Day, brother. Same to you, brother. Have a good night and a blessed Lord's Day tomorrow. Tomorrow. Don't know what
Yep.
tomorrow is. Tomorrow's a person. Livian says good night, everyone. Happy Sunday. Blessed Sunday to you too, brother. Tina says okay. He has a YouTube. She'll get in touch with him. Yep, that's perfect. Sounds good to me. So that'll do us, Zach. Do you want to sign out and say goodbye to folk, and then we'll end the stream.
Yeah. Thanks for everybody, commenting, helping us, get used to that, and
Mm-hmm.
you've been part of our test bed, so very appreciative. It seems to
Yeah,
be working.
yeah, definitely,
Um,
because you'll see us
and
enact more in this format.
yeah, and I would just say have a blessed Lord's Day. And yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm. God bless, folks. Good night.